So we first met in 2006 when I was directing. You were interested in adult and helped me on my first movie, Skater Girl Fever.
Yeah, I worked as a PA.
Since then, I've photographed you for Leg Show, and you're on the cover of my new book. I know you've done a lot since I last saw you, hosting, modeling, performing. What are you up to now?
More of the same. The industry has changed in a great way. So I love producing for my OnlyFans because I get to produce the kind of content that I like to see. And I still shoot for some of the big marquee companies, like, the Brazzers, all Naughty Americas, all the big companies. I took a hiatus and then I came back in 2017, shorter hair with the MILF look. The MILF explosion was one of the best things that could have happened for me because I always loved this industry. And now I'm back running around in my underwear for money.
Knowing what you know now, what would you do differently if you were starting out?
Oh gosh. Honestly, I had such an interesting journey. I really don't know if I would change anything. I think I am really happy with the choices that I made. I had a lot of fun in this industry. I definitely spent all the money that I made the first round, but I also had the most amazing 20s anyone could ask for. I traveled all over the world. I got to do all sorts of things that most people never get to do. And I got to spend a lot of days in bed reading books, which is my absolute favorite thing. And leisure is the ultimate gift one can give themselves. So I think things are good. Yeah.
What's your current favorite reading? Your current favorite book?
I read a lot of romance novels. So I guess it's because I probably can't watch porn because I know everybody. And even if I don't know the people in the scene, I know which house it's at, or I know who's shooting it or who's editing it. And then while I'm watching it, I can't lose myself in it. So I love historical romance novels, like the full-on bodice rippers. I'm a huge fan. I read that. I read comic books. I'm a hardcore news junkie, though that's mostly my ears. But I do about 3 hours of news a day. And on podcasts, and then BBC, New York Times, all that. A little sci-fi here and there.
Is there someone you looked up to coming into the industry, and is there someone you admire now?
Gosh, I was always a big Belladonna fan. It's one of my biggest regrets that I never got to work with her. She's just amazing. And I'm constantly inspired by the women around me. I think I did have, when I first started my career, back in 07, 08, back in the day, I did have, a solo model site, but it's very different than how we do OnlyFans today and how we control our own marketing, control our own branding, control our own messaging, and produce and all the other things. So I'm constantly impressed by the women around me. Like, there's this new girl, Kenzie Ann, who is so hot and so on top of her shit that she blows my mind. Sharita Phil, Angela White, there's so many babes just getting it done out there that I am constantly inspired.
Does the extent in the amount of sex that you're having in your work detract from your private sex life?
If it wasn't for porn, I wouldn't get laid. I am such a dork. I never realize when people are hitting on me. It's so funny you said Skater Girl Fever. Gosh, this must have been 2014 or 15, but Charlotte Stokely came over to my house for me to teach her to play Magic the Gathering because I am that cool.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like adjacent with Dungeons and Dragons on like the nerd level. And, she got topless and she was there for like 3 hours. We went through like 2 bottles of wine. Did not realize she was trying to sleep with me. Absolutely, I had no idea. I don't know if people want to sleep with me unless it's like I get a call sheet. And then I'm like, okay, I know they've consented and agreed. My personal, if it wasn't for porn, I wouldn't get laid. Because dating in LA is trash, so why would I fuck with that when I can have sex with beautiful people that are clearly consenting at work?
Makes sense. Do people treat you differently because you do porn?
I would assume so. I've worked in the adult industry my entire adult life, so I don't really have, and while I did take a hiatus, I was still very public about the fact that I have been a porn star, because you can't hide it. You can't. It's going to be with you forever. And because it's been my entire adult life, people are always going to, I have nothing to compare it to. But I would assume so. But I also think any relationship is hard. So it doesn't matter what you do, there's always going to be some sort of friction.
Has performing an adult had an impact on your health?
Being able to perform an adult actually really helped me. During my hiatus, I had a pretty severe health issue, and I had major shoulder surgery. And I will be in chronic pain for the rest of my life. And what I really love about the adult industry is that it gives me the flexibility to work and still have a productive life. And at this point, I employ people, photographers, directors, whatever. I'm an office manager. And if I didn't have sex work, I would probably be on disability. And so I think that it's an incredible gift.
How was your relationship with social media?
How is my relationship with social media? I've been on Twitter since '08. I fucking love it. I'm not as on it as before. I am very frustrated with Twitter and Instagram's, the way the algorithm is. I would like it to be in order. As opposed to what they think I want to see, because they don't quite get me. I'm overwhelmed by TikTok. I totally skip Snapchat. I would like to be good at TikTok, but I spend so much time creating so much content that I monetize in other ways that I just don't know. I don't know where these girls are getting this energy. What is their secret? Would I have to give my afternoon nap? Probably. So I enjoy it. I really, and honestly, because of social media, I've been able to reach out to amazing artists, photographers, writers that I never would have had a chance to interact with without social media. It's been an amazing, particularly Twitter in the beginning, it's been an amazing way for me to connect with, people that I want to work with. I just worked with a photographer from New York that I never would have worked with if it hadn't been for Instagram, and us being able to look at each other's work in that way.
If you had one piece of advice for someone who wants to succeed in your field, what would it be?
Pay your taxes. I think that I generally recommend that people should not get into porn, because it is not easy money. It's, I quit for 5 years. I had other jobs. And what was amazing about those jobs is at the end of the day, I got to go home and I was done. I could just sit and chill. When you work an adult, you're never off. There's never, it's not all running around in your underwear and getting laid. It's so much hard work, and it is going to follow you around for the rest of your life. It is constantly going to crop up and sabotage you in very unexpected ways. You never know when someone's going to have an issue with it. So generally, I advise people not to do it. But if they want to do it, it's a great way to explore your sexuality in a safe, sane, and consensual environment. I did a lot of things for kink that I would never do in my personal life, and I'm glad that I experienced them. But most importantly, incorporate, get a good tax person, and pay your taxes, because, preferably quarterly.